Hello and welcome to another session on language and linguistics. In today's class, we shall discuss word formations. As students of English language, you must have noticed that new words constantly get added up into the corpus of language. The major causes include the technological and social changes that happen around us. And this changes, both which is a part of innovations or inventions that is happening in science, the world outside, has a direct impact on our life. This demand for new word formations, now for example, we have the pandemic, words like quarantine and COVID terms. There are new verb phrases based on COVID. New phrases in English language itself has been coined, and new words have been coined. So that shows the impact that the changes happening outside, the social changes happening, the problems that we face, the scientific changes, internet, we have the internet, WhatsApping is another word, Facebooking, WhatsApping, all these, we have internet usage, words that we use in the when we are on the internet. So all these are because of the changes that happens around us, because of the innovations in science, innovations in new inventions, new innovations, etc. So different social or the changes in the society, and so on, that has a direct impact on our life, which in turn has an impact on the language as such, because human beings, after all, we communicate, right? So it has a direct impact on language formation as well. So let's just quickly look into the various forms or various reasons or categories of word formation. Now, when we studied derivational affixes, I taught you, or I had already told you, how the derivation process take place, and how derivation is a process of word formation where a new word is formed by attaching a derivational affix to the stem. Right? This process can also be termed as affixation. ഇതിനെ affixation എന്നും പറയാം. Derivation or affixation are of two types. ഞാൻ അത് ആദ്യമേ പറഞ്ഞു, ഡെറിവേഷൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചപ്പോഴേ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, ക്ലാസ് ചേഞ്ചിങ്ങും ഉണ്ട്, ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിനിങ്ങും ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ആഡിങ് എ പ്രിഫിക്സ്, when you add a prefix to the base with a change of class, word class, or without a change of word class, either of which, it is called prefixation. A prefix add ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ട്രെഞ്ച് എന്നുള്ളതിൽ എൻട്രഞ്ച് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് വേർഡ് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ചേഞ്ച് വരുന്നുണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ നേരെ മറിച്ച് ഓഥർ എന്ന് ഓഥർ എന്നുള്ളത് കോ ഓഥർ എന്ന് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് വേർഡ് ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്തു പോവാണ്. നൗൺ തന്നെയാണത്, അല്ലേ? അതിൽ വ്യത്യാസമൊന്നുമില്ല, ക്ലാസ്സിന് വ്യത്യാസം വരുന്നില്ല, വേർഡ് ക്ലാസ്സിന്. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് കോൾഡ് പ്രിഫിക്സ്. പ്രിഫിക്സ് ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുക, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ക്ലാസ് മാറുകയോ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്, I told you what is class. Class is parts of speech. So it could be with or without a change of the word class, and that is called prefixation. Whereas adding a suffix to the base with or without a change in the word class, one example would be work, okay, and worker. Okay, work is verb ആണ്, work, അല്ലേ? വർക്കറിലോട്ട് ആകുമ്പോഴത്തെ, വർക്കർ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ അത് നൗണായി, വർക്കർ. അപ്പോൾ അത് ക്ലാസ് ചേഞ്ചിങ് ആണ്, ഒരു വേർബിൽ നിന്നും അത് നൗണായി മാറുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ പക്ഷേ അത് സഫിക്സാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ അതെന്തുകൊണ്ട് ആ മാറ്റം വരുന്നത് സഫിക്സിലാണ്, ER ആഡ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക്. മാൻ, മാൻഹുഡ്, പക്ഷെ മാൻ നൗണാണ്. മാൻഹുഡ് വരുമ്പോഴും നൗൺ തന്നെയാണ്, ആബ്സ്ട്രാക്ട് നൗണാണ്. മാൻ കോമൺ നൗണും മാൻഹുഡ് ആബ്സ്ട്രാക്ട് നൗണുമായിട്ട് മാറുന്നു. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആബ്സ്ട്രാക്ട് നൗണാണ്. പക്ഷേ അതിൽ ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിനിങ് ആണ്. ക്ലാസ്സിന് വ്യത്യാസം വരുന്നില്ല. പാർട്സ് ഓഫ് സ്പീച്ചാണ് ക്ലാസ്. സോ ദിസ് പ്രോസസ് മേ ബി കോൾഡ് സഫിക്സേഷൻ. അപ്പോൾ സഫിക്സ് ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുകയോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ക്ലാസ് മാറുകയോ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ സഫിക്സേഷൻ എന്നും, പ്രിഫിക്സ് ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ക്ലാസ് മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുകയോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ക്ലാസ് മാറുകയോ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അത് പ്രിഫിക്സേഷൻ എന്നും പറയുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, അതിലൂടെ ഡെറിവേഷണൽ അഫിക്സിലൂടെയും നമ്മൾ വൊക്കാബുലറി, പുതിയ പുതിയ വൊക്കാബുലറി വന്ന് ചേരുന്നു. ഓൾറൈറ്റ്, അടുത്ത ഒരു പ്രോസസ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കൺവേർഷനാണ്. Conversion is the process of word formation by assigning the base to a different word class without changing its form. That is, with zero affixation. For example, ride എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആസ് എ വേർബ് 2 എണ്ണം ഉണ്ട്. റൈഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വേർബായിട്ടും നിൽക്കും, റൈഡ് നൗണായിട്ടും നിൽക്കും. Another one is red as a noun, the name of the color, and red as an adjective when it becomes red rose. Okay, so ഇതിനെയാണ് കൺവേർഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഈ കൺവേർഷൻ നടക്കുന്നതിൽ എന്താ ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ഇതിനകത്ത് the process of word formation happens with a different or by assigning the base to a word class without changing its form. Next one is compounding. Now, compounding is a process of word formation by which one base is added to another base to form a particular word. For example, noun plus noun. Tablecloth. Let's take the example table and cloth. 2 noun. ഒരു ടേബിൾ, ഒരു ക്ലോത്ത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ രണ്ടിനെയും കൂടെ ഒരുമിച്ച് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും noun plus noun ആക്കുമ്പോൾ ടേബിൾ ക്ലോത്ത് എന്നുള്ളൊരു വേറൊരു വാക്കായിട്ട് മാറും. കളർ ബ്ലൈൻഡ് അടുത്തത്. അപ്പോൾ കോമ്പൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പ്രോസസ് ഓഫ് വേർഡ് ഫോർമേഷൻ ബൈ ആഡിങ് വൺ ബേസ് ടു അനദർ ബേസ്. ഓക്കെ, അതാണ് കോമ്പൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ. ഈ കോമ്പൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് ഈ പറയുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവം, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് a process of word formation where a new word is formed by combining 2 stems. 2 സ്റ്റെമ്മും കൂടി ഒരുമിച്ച് വരുമ്പോൾ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനെ ബേസ് എന്നും പറയാം, 2 സ്റ്റെമ്മിനെ ഒരുമിപ്പിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന ഒരു വാക്കിനെയാണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വേർഡ് ഫോർമേഷനെയാണ് കോമ്പൗണ്ടിങ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആസ് ഐ സെഡ് റൈറ്റ് നൗ, ടേബിൾ ക്ലോത്ത് തന്നെ എടുത്ത് നോക്കൂ. ടേബിൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സ്റ്റെമ്മാണ്, ക്ലോത്ത് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വേറൊരു സ്റ്റെം. ഇതിനകത്ത് ഇത് രണ്ടും കൂടി ഒരുമിച്ച് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അത് വേറൊരു വാക്കായി മാറുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ്. ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ് ഈസ് എ ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് അബ്രിവേഷൻ ഓഫ് എ വേർഡ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഷോർട്ട് ഫോം ആക്കുന്നതിനെയാണ് ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് നടക്കുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ഒരു പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ വേർഡ് ഓർ സം പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ വേർഡ് ഈസ് ക്ലിപ്ഡ് ഓഫ് ദ റെസ്റ്റ് and only the remaining word is used. For example, fridge. റെഫ്രിജറേറ്റർ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സംഭവത്തിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഫ്രിഡ്ജ് എന്ന് മാത്രമായിട്ട് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. ഹാംബർഗർ, അതിനെ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ബർഗർ എന്ന് മാത്രമേ പറയുന്നുള്ളൂ. ഡോക്ടർ എന്നുള്ളതിന് ഡോക്ക്, ഐ വെൻറ്റ് ടു സീ ദ ഡോക്ക്. വെറ്റിനറി ഡോക്ടർ, വെറ്റിനറി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെറ്റിനറിയൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് പകരം നമ്മൾ ഐ വെൻറ്റ് ടു സീ ദ വെറ്റ്. അഡ്വർടൈസ്മെൻറ്റ് ആഡ്, എക്സാമിനേഷന് എക്സാം, ലബോറട്ടറിക്ക് ലാബ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നതിനെയാണ് ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഓട്ടോമൊബൈലിന് ഓട്ടോ, വാമ്പയറിന് വാമ്പ്, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ. ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസയ്ക്ക് ഫ്ലൂ, എക്സെട്ര. Now next, another type is blending, or this is also called portmanteau words. See, blending in thaneyanu portmanteau words ennu parayunnu. Words created by blending or merging two words are called blends. In blending, at least two free morphemes are fused or melted together, and they create a new lexeme. For example, guess plus estimate becomes guesstimate. Mortar plus hotel becomes motel. Breakfast plus lunch, that would be the best example for a portmanteau word or for blending. Breakfast plus lunch is brunch. Smoke plus fog becomes smog. Bold plus rash become brash. Rural plus urban becomes rurban, and so on. Dance plus exercise is dancercise. Snappy plus jazzy is snazzy, etc. These are all blending or portmanteau words, where two words are merged or blended to form a new word. அடுத்தது acronym. Acronyms are formed by taking the initial letters of a phrase and making a word out of it. Acronyms, they provide a way of turning a phrase into a word. A classical acronym is also pronounced as a word. Scuba was formed from the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Sometimes an acronym uses not just the first letter, but the first syllable of a component word. For example, radar. It is radio detection and ranging. Another example would be, the stats or secret state police, etc. So acronyms are subtypes of initialism. Initialisms also include words made from the initial letters of the phrase but not pronounced as a normal word. It is instead pronounced as a string of letters. Like, for example, organizations, United Nations, UN. These are initializations. Okay. Then you have United States of America, USA, or US, and so on. പക്ഷേ ചില organizations, they are pronounced as a word. Okay, UNICEF and all other, they are pronounced as a word as such. Okay. Memos, emails, text messaging, text speak are modes of communication that give rise to both clippings and acronyms, since these word formation methods are designed to abbreviate. For example, PTO, please turn over. BRB, be right back. LOL, 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 laughing out loud, and so on. These are all examples for acronyms. Okay. Next one is back formation. Back formation reverses the normal process of word formation by affixation. It creates a new word by dropping instead of adding affixes. For example, beg comes from the word beggar. Burgle comes from the word burglar. Donate comes from the word donation. Opt from option. Emote from emotion. Housekeep from housekeeper, etc. Nouns like dancer, singer were formed forwards, not backwards. So in back formation it is backwards, but some words like singer, dancer, etc. are formed forwards from the verbs sing and dance. The verbs beg and burgle were formed backwards from the nouns beggar and burglar. Okay. Another one is meta-analysis. In this process, it is an incorrect division. Actually, it is an incorrect division of two words, which are often taken together in terms of pronunciation, and they are pronounced as one. For example, an apron becomes an apron. Okay. Another example is Whitsun. Whitsun is formed from the incorrect division of white Sunday. Okay, and there are thus additions to the vocabulary and language through slangs, through words derived from proper and personal nouns, onomatopic words, and so on. So with this we come to the end of the word formations. So the most important ones that you have to bear in mind are compounding and of course derivations. Then you have clipping, blending, or blending is also known as portmanteau words. Acronym is easy, it's easier for you to understand and remember. Back formation, you have both the back formation as well as the forward one. Back formation is done by moving backwards, whereas certain words like for example singer, dancer and all is formed forwards, not backwards. So these are all forms of back formations. Okay, then you have you have meta-analysis again, which is an incorrect division of two words, but it's mostly based on on its pronunciation and nothing else. Example with sun, which is actually an incorrect division of white Sunday, and apron, which later became apron. Okay, and so on. Let's now look into the semantics. Now, what is semantics? Semantics is the study of the meaning of words, phrases and sentences. It is a Greek word which comes from the words semantics. It comes from the two Greek words, sema and semeno, which means sema means sign or signal, semeno which is a verb, it also means signal. So the term semantics was coined in 1880s by the French linguist Michel Braille. He made a serious and largely successful attempt to introduce semantics into European linguistic work. Now, so each language has a word or stock of vocabulary, and these lexemes or lexical items are the terms which refer to the basic units of semantic analysis, which are commonly called words. വാക്കുകൾ, lexemes എന്നും lexical items എന്നും അതിൻ്റെ ബേസിക് യൂണിറ്റാണ് ഈ സെമാൻറ്റിക് അനാലിസിസിൽ. അതിൻ്റെ ബേസിക് യൂണിറ്റ്സ് ആണ് ഈ ലെക്സീംസും ലെക്സിക്കലും. അത് കോമൺലി എന്താണ് അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വാക്കുകൾ എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥമാണ്. സെവറൽ ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് പാരാഡിഗ്മാറ്റിക്കൽ, ഞാൻ ഓൾറെഡി പാരാഡിഗ്മാറ്റിക്കും സിൻടാഗ്മാറ്റിക്കും റിലേഷൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ദോസ് ഹു ആർ കൺഫ്യൂസ്ഡ് വിത്ത് ഇറ്റ്, ഗോ ബാക്ക് ടു ദാറ്റ് വീഡിയോ, വാച്ച് ഇറ്റ് അഗെയിൻ ആൻഡ് കം ബാക്ക്. So several types of paradigmatic relationship have been recognized between lexical items. Let us now look at some of the different meaning relations that exist among different lexical items. First and foremost, let's look into what is called synonymy. This is a term used in semantics to refer to a type of sense relation between lexical items. The relationship of sameness, synonyms of meaning. For example, kingly, royal, regal, ഇതെല്ലാം ഒരേ ടൈപ്പ് വാക്കിൻ്റെ വേറെ അർത്ഥങ്ങളാണ്. Such words which have the same meanings are called synonyms, and the relationship between them is one of synonymy. It is very rarely that items are completely or absolutely identical so that they are interchangeable in all contexts. That rarely happens. This kind of unlikely synonyms is termed total synonymy or absolute synonymy. അങ്ങനെ വരുന്നതിനെ ടോട്ടൽ സിനോണമി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആബ്സല്യൂട്ട് സിനോണമി, അത് റെയറാണ്, പക്ഷേ വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് കോൾഡ് ടോട്ടൽ സിനോണമി ഓർ ആബ്സല്യൂട്ട് സിനോണമി. That is, it's a kind of unlikely synonymy. Two items can be called synonymous if they are close enough in their meaning so that one can substitute the other in some context without affecting the meaning of the sentence as a whole. Context is important in deciding whether a set of lexical items is synonymous or not. For example, in the context of what a nice dash of flowers, the items range of flowers, selection of flowers, choice of flowers, etc. are synonymous. Okay, what a nice range of flowers, or what a nice selection of flowers, or you can say what a nice choice of flowers, and so on. But in this context, look at this one, okay, his dash of knowledge is enormous. Here you cannot say his selection of knowledge is enormous. You cannot say his choice of knowledge is enormous. Here you can say only range can be used along with other set, or maybe another set of synonyms like his breadth of knowledge, his depth of knowledge, or his range of knowledge. So when you're using the word, see, range was used for what is a nice selection or what a nice range of flowers എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ആ സെയിം വാക്ക് തന്നെ വേറൊരു സ്ഥലത്ത് വേറൊരു കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ ഈ റേഞ്ച് ചിലപ്പോൾ വരുമായിരിക്കാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ റേഞ്ച് നമുക്കിവിടെ ഇടാം, പക്ഷെ അതിൻ്റെ ബാക്കി ആ സെക്ഷനിൽ വന്നിട്ടുള്ള സെലക്ഷൻ എന്നും ചോയ്സ് എന്നും വന്നിട്ടുള്ള സിനോണിംസ് ഇവിടെ ഫിറ്റ് ആവുന്നില്ല. ഇവിടെ റേഞ്ച് എന്നുള്ള സിനോണിം ഫിറ്റ് ആവുന്നുണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ റേഞ്ച് വേറെ സെറ്റ്, ആ കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിനനുസരിച്ച് വേറെ സെറ്റ് ഓഫ് വാക്കുകൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആ റേഞ്ച് ഡെപ്ത്ത് വരാം, ബ്രെഡ്ത്ത് വരാം. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു സെൻറ്റൻസിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രക്ചറും അതേപോലെ തന്നെ ആ സെൻറ്റൻസിൻ്റെ കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റുമാണ് ഒരു സിനോണിം, ഏത് സിനോണിം ഇടണം എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുക. ഓരോ വാക്കുകൾ അതിൻ്റെ കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിനനുസരിച്ചാണ് അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം നിൽക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, അടുത്തത് ആൻറ്റോണമി. This term in semantics refers to a kind of sense relation between words, the relationship of oppositeness of meaning. Example, long, short, sharp, blunt, fast, slow, etc. In general case, it refers to all types of semantic oppositeness, though there are various subdivisions. Because you have something called graded antonymy. There are degrees of differences as in big and small, tall and short, between ungraded, and also there are something called ungraded antonymy. There is either or contrast, as of single, married. Some linguists reserve the term antonymy only for a graded antonymy and use the term complementaries for ungraded antonymies. There are converse antonymous terms which indicate the way or two-way contrasts that are interdependent, such as buy, sell, or parent-child. One member presupposes the other. How many types of oppositeness can be termed antonymous is still a matter of controversy. So there are different types of antonymies. There are several divisions of antonymies. There are different types of semantic oppositeness. So you have graded antonymy, you have ungraded antonymy, which is also termed as complementaries, and there are converse antonymies, and so on. Okay, but as such, what is an antonymy? Antonymy refers to oppositeness. Okay, now next is hyponymy. There is a semantic term which refers to the relationship between, or relationship which obtains between, specific and general items, such as the former is included in the latter. That is, the former is a hyponym of latter. For example, a dog is a hyponym of animal, table of furniture, sword of weapon, etc. There is a superordinate item with reference to which the subordinate term can be defined as a dog is a type of animal. Okay, the set of terms which are hyponyms of the same subordinate items are called co-hyponyms. For example, cat, dog, and tiger, and rose, lily, jasmine. There are two types or two sets of co-hyponyms. Language differ in their superordinate terms, and in hyponyms they accept under one such term. Okay. Then you have what is called polysemy. This term refers to a lexical item which has a range of different meanings, one form with several meanings. For example, plain. Plain can be clear, plain can be unadorned, plain can be obvious, so etc. A large proportion of the vocabulary of a language is often polysemic or polysemous. Sometimes it becomes too difficult to distinguish between polysemy and homonymy. So if the words are etymologically different, that is different from the historical origin, they are considered homonyms. All right. So it is a single, polysemy is a single word. It's a form having a relatable or similar meaning. It has, if a word has multiple meanings, that is in the polysemic sense, then there will be a single entry with a numbered list of different meanings of the word. The word head can be used to refer to the human head or the department head or a place of entry in accounting, the head, etc. There are a number of courses. That's why I said it is very much similar to homonyms, quite similar to homonyms. But if there is a difference in the historical origin, then they are not polysemy, they are considered homonyms. അതിൽ എറ്റിമോളജിക്കൽ ഡിഫറൻസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഹിസ്റ്റോറിക്കൽ ഡിഫറൻസിന് വ്യത്യാസം ഉണ്ടെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ഹോമോണിംസ് ആയിട്ട് മാറും. അതല്ല എന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വാക്കിന് തന്നെ പല ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ ഒരു വാക്കിന് തന്നെ പല now there are a number of courses which lead to a single word developing a number of meanings, or there is a lot of courses because of a word becoming polysemous. First reason is shift in application. For example, sweet, a word belonging to one sensory organ, gets shifted to another sensory perception like smell. Sight, as in sweet song, sweet memories, sweet face of the baby, etc. So there is one reason for this, for one word becoming polysemous is the shift in application. Another reason is the specialization in social milieu. For example, paper, which refers to writing material, can also refer to a legal document. It can refer to a newspaper. It can refer to a set of questions for examination, your paper, and so on. Now, another reason is the figurative language. For example, when we use metaphor and metonymy, when we are writing novels and poems, there is a shift, there is a lot of, there is a, this is one reason for a word becoming polysemous. Another reason is the reinterpretation of homonyms. That's why I said it's difficult to understand between the homonyms and the polysemy. It is, if the different meaning of a word form cannot be related, then it is a case of homonymy. They will be treated as two or more words with identical form. They will be presented as different entries or articles in a dictionary. Sometimes historically different words from different forms may have come to have identical forms due to sound. That's why I said if it is etymologically different, if it is historically different, then that is homonymy. For example, the ear of corn is in no way historically related to the ear of the body. Corn, ചോളത്തിൻ്റെ ear എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് is not in any way is not related to the ear, our ear as of the body part. Historically, then there are homonyms. They are homonyms. But most people today would regard them as the same word with different meaning. That is as examples of polysemy. അതാണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഹോമോണിംസ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും നമ്മൾ പൊളിസിമിയാണ് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതലുള്ള പൊളിസിമിയാണ്. ഹിയർ polysemy arises due to the reinterpretation of homonyms or unrelated identical words. So homonymy is all to do with etymological reasons, historical reasons. Another reason is the foreign influence. വേറൊരു റീസൺ ഈ പോളിസിമിക്കുള്ള വേറൊരു റീസൺ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഫോറിൻ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ആണ്. ദ മീനിങ് ഓഫ് എ വേർഡ് ഇൻ വൺ ലാംഗ്വേജ് മേ ചേഞ്ച് ഓൺ ദ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ഇക്വിവാലൻറ്റ് ഇൻ അനദർ ലാംഗ്വേജ്. ഇഫ് a new meaning is acquired due to influence of foreign language and the original meaning continues to exist, then that word becomes polysymous. For example, star in Malayalam, especially superstars in films, is Taram. So this is another reason for this polysemy. Okay, so the meaning of a word in one language may change and influence the equivalent in another language. അപ്പോൾ താരം സ്റ്റാർ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും അത് മലയാളത്തിൽ നക്ഷത്രം എന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല താരം എന്നുള്ളൊരു അർത്ഥവും കൂടി മലയാളത്തിലേക്ക് വരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിന് മാത്രമല്ല, അപ്പോൾ ഓരോ വാക്കുകളും ഫോറിൻ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും അതിൽ ഓരോ ലാംഗ്വേജിനും അതിൻ്റെതായ ഒരു ഷിഫ്റ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൻ്റെതായ ഒരു വ്യത്യാസം വരുന്നുണ്ട് അതിനകത്ത്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ ഇറ്റ് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസസ് ഈച്ച് അതർ ആൻഡ് വേർഡ്സ് ബിക്കം polysymous. Right? Then you have homonymy. The term homonymy is used when one form has two or more unrelated meanings. Broadly speaking, homonymy is the case of single word form having a number of meanings which are not relatable. If two words are treated as homonyms, they will typically have two separate entries. Example, homonyms are the pairs or bank of a river, or a bank as a financial institution, bat as of bat, that of a creature and that of the sports equipment, race out of contest of speed, or race as of ethnic group. So they are words which have quite separate meanings but which have accidentally come to have exactly the same form. Two meanings of a word form which are historically related if they are felt synchronically. That is at the time of use, synchronymous relation. That is. Then they will become homonyms. For example, the two senses of the language of the English word pupil. One is that of a student and the other one is the part of the eye. They are historically related, but synchronically their meanings are unrelatable. If you look at it synchronically, then it's from the point of time it's unrelatable. Hence it is treated as a case of homonymy. That's why I said it is etymologically important. Homonyms are mostly etymologically important. Further, in contrast to polysemy, where there is lexical unity, homonymy is a case of lexical divergence or differentiation. Moreover, in the case of polysemy, the different related sense are felt to belong to a single word. In the case of homonymy, they are felt to belong different words in spite of formal identity. So polysemy is more to do with the lexical unity, sameness, whereas homonymy is all to do with that differentiation or divergence. Okay, polysemy, it's all to do with sameness. Okay, and polysemy is always, it is affected by several reasons, which we discussed earlier. It's sameness, so all to do with that unity and sameness. Whereas homonymy is to do with the difference, like bank as of Bank of a River, or the financial institution. The word is not having that same meaning. So it's all to do with difference. That's because it was used like that in some point of time. Synchronically, it was like that. But if you look at it now, it has absolutely no relation. They are unrelated. Okay. Ambiguity. Ambiguity is something that you have already studied. It is a linguistic condition in which one linguistic form gives more than one meaning. Structurally, it may arise at three levels: phonetic, grammatical, and lexical. Ambiguity may result in speech due to the phonetic structure of sentences or phrases. In the connected speech, certain words are pronounced alike. That is, for example, sons raise meat and sons raise meat. So S-U-N, sun, raise, R-A-Y-S, and the other one is son, S-O-N, and R-A-I-S-E. So it is both in the phonetic structure as well as you can find it in the grammatical structure or the lexical structure. Grammatical ambiguity may arise either due to identical grammatical forms giving different meanings, or due to single sequences of words which have more than one structural organization. For example, the English past tense has two different meanings. I went there yesterday. I wish I went there yesterday. Look at the word. I went there yesterday, which is the past tense, which is the past form, whereas I wish I went there yesterday is a regret, though it is in the past form. There are two different meanings. I went there yesterday, I went there. Whereas I wish I went there yesterday has a totally different meaning. It's a grammatical structure. They have identical grammatical forms, but it gives two different meanings. Now, prefixes such as in, if you look at the word in, prefix in, which usually means not, in words like inadequate, invisible, may not mean the same as in inflammable. Inflammable, easily causing fire. It's not inflammable, it's inflammable. Not to be pronounced as inflammable, it's inflammable. So it is different. Okay, but it's the same word in itself, the same structure, which normally is used to give an opposite. But look at how it is not so in the word inflammable. In English, adjective or adjectival suffix able means differently in words like desirable, readable, eatable, debatable. In a sentence or phrase, words may have interpretations when their grammatical relations are altered. Old men and women. The old men and women, which may mean a group of old men, and women as of any young women perhaps. The age is not specified. It could also mean a group of old men and old women. Look at the phrase and see. The stout major's wife. Now who? The stout major, the major can be stout if you want to say. Okay. The stout major's wife, which is the major's wife is stout. See the difference? Flying planes can be dangerous. Flying planes, that is, flying planes as of the planes flying in the sky or flying across the sky, can be a dangerous one if it crashes onto the road, or if it crashes, it can be dangerous. And it can also mean the act of flying, that is, the pilots who fly the plane, the career of flying a plane can also be dangerous. Okay, and if you look at those sentences, you will see that. Appa grammar lo vyathyasam varumbo, there is a grammatical in a sentence, a phrase or a word may have two interpretations. When their grammatical relations are altered, if you alter some of the grammatical relation and see, then there is a lot of change in the interpretation. The old men, and women, it could mean any women. It could be young women, it could be middle-aged women, it could be old women, it could be any women. Okay, and then if you take the old and men and women together, it could mean a group of old men and old women. Likewise, the stout major's wife. The stout major's wife, which means the major's wife is stout, or the stout major's, okay, the major is stout and his wife. Okay, all right. So lexical ambiguity arises when a single word is connected with two or more meanings. Sentences may become ambiguous when they have words which are either polysemous or homonyms. Again, for example, the word board can mean a thin plank, a board, B-O-A-R-D, board, a thin plank, or it can mean a board of members, members of a council, and so on. Okay. All right.